Shalom. My name is Michael Decker, and I'm a lawyer within the law offices of Cohen Decker Pex and Brosh. Today, in the framework of our work in regards to citizenship in Portugal, I wanted to address the largest community, basically, that is eligible almost exclusively to obtain Portuguese citizenship. And I'm dealing here with the Moroccan Jewish community. Basically, if we go back in time, and we go to the year 1492, when the Alhambra decree was ordered by King Ferdinand and Queen Isabella, then the Jews that did not want to convert by force and become Christians basically were expelled. So from that already you can understand that the Jews that were expelled were extremely religious Jews that the Jewish religion was very important to them, because they had also the choice to basically stay in Spain and Portugal as Christians, even if they were fake Christians, like many of the Christians that were called Moranos and didn't really become Christians. So in any case, we're dealing with a religious group of people, and in Judaism, usually Jews like to keep together and remain in communities. So the migration from Spain was usually a migration of a large number of Jews that remained in communities to various places in the world. And the Jews migrated after the expulsion to many parts of the world, including India even, and Egypt, and areas in Europe like Holland and England, and areas in North Africa like Libya, Algeria, Tunis, and the main country we'll focus on now is Morocco. So to Morocco there was a very large Jewish population that migrated there, between 20 to 40,000, and they mainly settled in the northern parts of Morocco. They were all living in types of towns, or maybe better said ghettos, called malach. And these malach places or ghettos were basically surrounded by like walls, and they were also to protect the Jews from any hostility from the Muslim communities where they were migrating to. In the areas of North Morocco, where the Jews were settling, basically we're dealing with cities like Tangier and Pas and Rabat, and the Jews also made it to southern parts of Morocco, or like mid-south of Morocco, where Marrakesh is a famous city. But in the northern part of Morocco, the Jews continued basically to speak Spanish. The northern part of Morocco was more influenced by the Spanish Empire, and basically there was also an agreement between the Spanish Empire and Morocco that in return for accepting the Jewish migrants, they won't be occupied in certain ways by the Spanish Empire. But in any case, the Jews, mainly in North Morocco, continued to speak Spanish, which in time became the Ladino dialect, which is the famous dialect of the Spanish Sephardic Jews, in contrast to the Ashkenazi Jews that spoke Yiddish. The main professions of the Jews were basically just in commerce. They were owners of vines, a lot of reselling, purchasing a product and then selling it for higher bids when the demand for the products that were purchased became higher, like reselling, and also types of banking and giving loans with credit, which, by the way, was a violation in Islam, and which created tension between Muslims and Jews in those areas. Basically, another important fact to note is that the migrants, the Jewish-Moroccan migrants that were from Spain with Sephardic background, came with the Jewish Sephardic traditions, including special ketubot, special burial customs, special prayers in the synagogues, and basically the customs and the Sephardic customs more or less took over all the Jewish communities in Morocco, and therefore if you're a Moroccan Jew, you are basically a descendant of the Sephardic Jewish community. There were also famous rabbis that came out of the Sephardic Jewish community in Morocco, such as Rabbi Shimon ben Levi, Rabbi Saadia Danan, Rabbi Yitzchak Deloya, and more. So basically we're dealing with a very rich community, which is almost all exclusively eligible for a Portuguese passport. And we're also dealing with a community that until not long ago was in Morocco. After 1948, for example, when Israel became a state, a lot of the Jews basically fled, also to Israel, to France, and to other countries around the world. But most Moroccan Jews today can basically trace easily their background to Morocco, even with official documents. So if you're a potential candidate as such, you can feel free to contact us. We'll be happy to help you prove your eligibility, obtain a recommendation for Portuguese citizenship from the Jewish community in Portugal, and then the Portuguese passport. Thank you very much for your time and for watching this.